tornado quotes.
All right, good evening and welcome to the April 14th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, for those of you that are tuning in, we've got a pretty short agenda tonight, but more focused on the approval of the budget and the warrant for the what appears to be now the July 14th municipal election. Any announcements from anybody? We're all set on the agenda, right? There's no public here to comment. We do have treasurer's reports and motor vehicle and excise tax reports if anybody would like to review those. Selectmen's reports. Anybody get anything?
Pretty quiet.
Yep.
I just had some people asking when they were going to lift the road restriction signs because they need their septics.
May 1st.
Talked to Dave today. He said he's probably going to pull the signs, most of them, by the end of the week. If somebody needs their septic pumped and needs to get a truck in there, all you got to do is call Dave and he'll approve that. So.
Okay.
I believe if it's a septic tank, that's delivery service, and that's exempt from, as long as that fella is empty when he goes to pump that tank out. That's just like an oil truck.
Okay. Gary, what do you got?
Well, first town administrator's report on the amazing iPhone here. Like you said, Dennis, the governor has officially changed the election to July 14th. So the board has another up to 3 weeks to work with budgetary items as well as the warrant. You can see that we're not completely done tonight with the warrant document. We'll talk about the fire station article, which is pretty well gussied up and in final form. Take your comments on that. In terms of a staffing update, in terms of pandemic, so far, knock on wood, everybody, all town employees are COVID-19 free. We don't have a positive test yet. We hope that continues. We continue to have one person in the front hall lobby here, 9 to 5, answering all the phones, checking all the voicemails, helping out with the mail, processing a great many property tax bills, and answering a ton of phone calls. Monday, yesterday, Nancy and I just answered the phone all day long. So be it, that's the way it is right now.
Gordon is on, FYI.
Hi, Gordon.
Hey, Gordon.
Code enforcement inspections have reduced greatly, as one would expect, but there is still some building activity. 2 library staff at any one time are down there working on those projects, and the librarian says she could do that for months, so that's not an issue. Public Works is on a reduced work schedule. Tommy Blackburn's home with a new baby, and I think he wanted to take this whole week and maybe next week also off. I talked to him today. Jason is working on a variety of smaller jobs, obviously with only 1 or 1.5 people there. And as you know, the transfer station is still only taking recycling and household rubbish, so as to not take cash and checks. I just wanted to give a really brief update on April and May Public Works project. The Blueberry Road, if you're up that way, they're going to start.
I saw something posted on Facebook this afternoon from the transfer station saying that they're accepting other things starting this week.
Just metal, and if you're from Waterboro, also brush and leaves.
Okay.
Right.
Metal
Stuff,
from anybody.
stuff that we wouldn't normally charge for, right?
Okay.
So still no cash or checks, but metal we don't charge for anyway, so that would be fine. So Blueberry Road starts.
And there will not be a cleanup day.
Right.
Correct.
Per order of the
Yes.
selectmen. So
Yeah.
anybody watching, there will not be a cleanup day in June,
A free day.
a free cleanup day.
Reason for that is we can't handle the volume now. We have one truck to haul everything, so we're going to spread this out in some type of a coupon system so the taxpayers could use that coupon for the free tires or whatever it might be for every household, and you could use that all year long. We're gonna spread this out over the entire year. So grinding and graveling Blueberry Road is gonna go on over the next, probably 2 to 3 weeks. It's gonna be 6 to 12 inches of gravel added up there, graded and rolled in preparation for pavement. Our town dump truck will help with hauling the gravel, but other than that, it's an outside contractor. Finally, the Straw Mill Brook Road paving repairs are gonna be done by Dayton Sand and Gravel. About time, but they're coming to do that this month, so I'm told. Catch basin up on Lord's Road by Frank Allen's house will be done hopefully this month by Public Works. And as time allows, with the staffing that we have, ditching up on Middle Road before paving later this summer. So there's a quick update on the projects over the next 6 weeks, let's say. And that's it from me, Mr. Chairman.
Did the ditching up on Star Hill, I mean, yeah, the old selectmen,
Ward Road?
help me out. The old farm on the south end, Star King's old property. Is that where they're gonna do where the water's running right out in the road and has been for?
What, Willie Lord's Farm, you mean?
No, this is on the middle road.
Oh,
I don't know.
Been a water problem up there by the Star King.
Is that the one where the barn, the red barn's right up on the edge of
Yes.
the road?
Yeah.
I think that's where they're doing that.
Okay.
David Benton's watching. If he wants to text me an answer to that line, I'll watch my phone.
yeah, the other one is right at the corner of Lord's Lane.
Yes.
It's all filled in there and
Yeah.
whatnot, so they're gonna shoot it across the road evidently.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions of Gary? All set?
Fine, thank you.
In the new business, we need to schedule a workshop to discuss proposed personnel policy amendments. What's your pleasure on the workshop? I think what we need is probably a list from everybody of what they'd like to see included or changed, or whatever the case may be, and then that would be the kickoff of the workshop, but we just really need to set a time and date.
Can I suggest one of the May meetings and not the next one here? We're running a little ragged here right now.
That's fine, let's do it. We can do it on May 9th. If that works, we'll do it to start the meeting.
That's a Saturday.
I'm sorry, that's June. Yeah, I'm looking, so May 12th. Give me a little bit, because usually the current month is in the middle of the, it's a tough. So the May 12th meeting, right?
How about if you put it on the April 20-something, just for a conversation, and that would bring
Oh,
in
we could,
the
yeah, we're not-
ideas, just a 5-minute
Not like we're gonna,
conversation
yeah,
of
not like we're gonna
doing
craft anything. So we could put it on the end of the agenda for the
Initial discussion, April
Yeah, the
28th.
28th, and then from that, we'll schedule a full-up workshop.
Okay. Ted asked for a hard copy. Does anybody else want a hard copy of the personnel policy?
I would love one.
Yeah, why don't you get us all one?
I think they're right by Sherry's window there.
I'll start the workshop at 5 or 6? I'm just going, was that?
Yeah, I think we would start it, well, we still have a number of interviews to do for potential committee people. And I'm kind of hoping that maybe at the end of the month, we start, loosen up some of that stuff so that we can conduct an interview here. And then we'll have to schedule them, but that would be, the earliest we can do that is the 12th. So why don't we'll do some preliminary discussions next meeting, the
We might be able to
28th.
do that out here in the parking lot. It's
Well, yeah,
6 or 8 feet, I mean.
The 28th, we'll have initial discussions at the end of the meeting. We can break for a workshop there. And then from that, we'll schedule a full-up workshop. It can be an alternate Tuesday night as far as I'm concerned. if everybody's agreeable to that, but I think if everybody came on the 28th and said, these are the things that I think we gotta work on for, in a personnel policy, at least that gives us a laundry list of things that we should be starting to look at. And I would suggest the same from, input from Matt or anybody else, Dave, or whomever else would have an input on some of the things they'd like to see, maybe us at least discuss, not necessarily change, but at least discuss.
It's a perennial topic, just so the board knows. Matt and I talk about these things. We come closer and closer all the time to almost a separate personnel policy for the fire department. We don't need that, but the issues, they work 24-hour shifts now. Holidays are handled differently. We do have some different things in there for fire and emergency personnel, but some of the overlap is confusing and creates HR challenges for Julie and I and Matt. So don't be surprised if you don't hear something like that from Matt and myself in terms of suggested changes.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that some of that could be handled with an appendix that addresses.
And the last time we did that, we thought we fixed it. We chopped up, there were 4 sections in there for how to accrue benefits, vacation time. And that just caused another set of questions.
It's never
Well,
finished.
yeah, I think we should have one personnel policy, whether there's multiple chapters in it, I guess we can have that discussion. Yeah. But I think the foundation of the personnel policy should be consistent across all the employees.
So separate fire and EMS chapter is something that you might hear comments from Matt about.
All right. Anything else with regard to that?
Not from me.
Item B here is to discuss awarding hazardous pay to fire and EMS first responders during the pandemic emergency. And there has been a lot of discussion here. What's the number? Is there a suggested number? I think that we've seen that the state of Maine has received money from the federal government to support hospital workers and all of those things. So I think as this thing shakes out, I think what we really need to do is to kind of come to a consensus that we are certainly willing to work that. We're not going to solve it tonight by just throwing a number at it, but I think that we should address it, and I would think that this would go back to the declaration of the emergency, right, which was the governor's. And I would believe that we have everybody's time from that period of time, right? We got time sheets and all that, so. But
I guess, too, we gotta have some figures, federal or state or both, to what we're talking.
right.
Sitting here tonight, I don't believe any of us know what hazard pay is.
Yeah, my only comment is I think that, we as a board certainly would endorse moving forward with that once we have.
We wanna be somewhere near equal with
Right.
what the rest of the state, if they get something, is.
I don't think we can afford the numbers you were talking to me about yesterday.
Probably not unless this comes from the federal government.
You think it should be retroactive when you finally come
Yeah,
out?
I think that's what everybody across the state are talking about.
This is what most of them are talking about throughout the state and federal government, is this money will be available after this.
Once we're done.
Almost like a
Once we're all
FEMA,
done,
almost
yeah.
like a FEMA grant, right? I mean, you determine how much there is, you submit for that much money, and, right?
The question I've got is money in that ambulance fund, can we use that for part of this cash flow? Or is that for just, at one time I thought that was there for just equipment.
I think that's, the ordinance is written that it says that anything over a certain amount goes into that account for
20,000,
equipment.
yes.
Right? So, if we had to use that for
Realistically,
emergency,
that
we have to-
ambulance, that ambulance fund is coming in, and we're transporting these patients back and forth, and that's, our funding is going into that account for this
I
pandemic.
guess we'd just have to talk to Ron or somebody and say, okay, what's the mechanism? And we might have to have a vote to take it out of that. I think if you use that from a cash flow.
I don't want to take the whole thing.
No, but if you use that initially and said, okay, in order for us to reimburse everybody up front,
Yeah,
and then we're gonna get reimbursed, it's
from the
like,
state or federal
it's
government.
like, we spend money on this FEMA damage, right? And FEMA back pays us, but, came out of the town's checkbook initially, but.
Right.
Well, is there anything, we know that there's federal money out there for these programs. There's federal money, there's federal guidelines that go with that filter down through the state. We just need to find out what those are. Now, my other question is, again, we're not going to solve this tonight. We got to figure out what those numbers are. Does it matter if we pay them now, or if it comes in a lump sum check at the end of it? Once we figure all this out and say, okay, here, maybe it'll come in 2 payments instead of 1, or 17, depending on how far this thing goes out.
I imagine it would stop when emergency stops, so when you folks declare the emergency over here locally.
In my mind, you want to pay them when it's all said and done, and if somebody leaves, they lose it.
No, I would say if they leave, if they've worked, you got to give them what they've worked for.
Yeah.
If they leave before it's over, from that point, they don't get anything. But up until the time that they're still here, they got to get paid for it. You just can't eliminate them out of the
I
equation.
think if you have a program, you have to honor the fact that
Yes.
they physically worked during that emergency.
You don't want to go there, because you'll open a can of worms that you'll never close.
Yeah.
I wonder if that is a reimbursement at the very end of that would be tax exempt. It should be.
We don't know
That's
whether.
another question to ask.
I guess the question is that all of this money that's coming, is that gonna be,
Declared
the,
I think it's
you're
going to be
gonna,
your income.
you're gonna see, money show up in your bank account, right? If the feds have your bank account, now, but they're gonna, this money that,
It's supposed to be
stimulus money is
sent.
just gonna enter there, but is that earnings?
Supposedly, what I was told and heard so far, it's not earnings. It will not
I would
back up.
think you wouldn't have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
That's,
We'll see after the
yeah, we'll
fact.
see. I mean, when they sort this all out.
In a year, we'll figure
I've
that
never
out.
seen anything yet that you didn't have to pay taxes.
Yeah. Some rough numbers. Since the middle of March to just about today, so essentially 1 month, for per diem, we had a little over 3,000 working hours, 24/7 for that month. That's about $6,000 at $2 an hour. For full-time employees, for that same time period, we had 1,300 plus hours, $2,600. So
So
there's,
how many hours, the bottom line? The number is moot at this point.
4,300 full-time and per diem cost you less than $9,000.
All right, so 4,300 hours to date. So that's what we need to book. And then whatever the number is that we compensate, gets multiplied times those hours, so.
You're going to be up around 9,000 hours, so before you get done.
Yeah.
You're gonna double that to the middle of next month, yeah.
Yeah, the real question is that, I would assume, since the governor has extended this to now May 15th, at least the emergency order.
And they've canceled school.
So
through June.
you're at least got 30 more days. So if 30 days is 43, it's gonna be 8,600 hours that we're gonna have to look at some level of compensation.
Yep.
Be it $2 or $30 an hour. I don't know what that number is, but
Call firefighters too that responded would be a smaller sum. It was only 42 call firefighter hours in that one
all right,
month.
so that's
That's under 1,000.
Small piece, okay. All right. Anything else with regard to that?
You're probably talking, yeah, somewhere between 9,000 and 30,000.
Yeah. Could be.
$1 to $3, you know.
Yeah. Comments, Gordon? Okay. All right, let's go to old business. Discuss possible vote on the 2021 municipal budget and the annual election warrant. I think we do have a bit of a reprieve here with the recent action by the governor to move municipal election or municipal votes, state vote, to the 14th. There is a preliminary or draft warrant that everybody should have, and it was in the in the selectmen's packet. Currently, there are 19 questions. 20, I guess, right? Because the last question is going to talk about how much we're going to use out of revenues, right?
Well, you'll notice I didn't make that a question. If you
Okay.
want that a voting question, you need to tell me to do that, because I made it a list and an FYI to
Okay.
the public.
All right, so we would at least put that number in the warrant.
Yes.
Okay.
And to Diane C. Hagan's point, I guess, good night tonight to talk about splitting other things out.
So we've already made and took a vote a couple of sessions ago, a week ago Thursday night, I guess, or almost 2 weeks ago now, that we would have a separate article that would address the fire department request for a new ladder truck. That will be, as far as I know, that will be Article 3. That will come with, certainly with all of the financial data, the explanatory note, the financial statement that has to be in a bond question and whatnot. So that will be finalized, and then that'll be added to the warrant. The question, and we did have a comment from a budget committee member of, should we further break out the capital request? We've already taken, there's really 4 categories of capital request. One we've already taken care of, which is the ladder truck. The second one is equipment, which predominantly is all fire department, and that includes, it's about just under $100,000, scuba bottles, air compressor, the Knox box, key entries, and the repeater, Ospey repeater stuff that we've got to put now up on Ossipee Mountain. So that's all kind of in the equipment bucket. There's a buildings bucket that again has a mix. There's the partial roof replacement for the library. There's LED lights, the library parking lot, I would presume. The repair and rebuild of the chimney, and then there's some South Station fire department heaters in that, but those are all focused on buildings. And then the fourth and final one is upgrading of roads, which would include, I think there's 4 or 5 items here, and that's $131,000. So the grand total for the non-fire, if we pull the fire truck out, the grand total of that article would be $257,963.
357?
No.
Oh, take up, I'm sorry, yes.
So what is your preference? You want to further break it down, and lump it all in one? In the past, we've lumped it all in one, and some people have certainly commented on, well, I wouldn't vote it down because I wanted one piece of it, and if I voted it down, I wouldn't have got that piece or whatever. Willing to support that. So what are your feelings on breaking it down into, well, what now will be 4 questions. One will be for the ladder truck, and the one would be for equipment, one would be for buildings, and one would be for road or public works stuff. Well, the buildings is public works as well, so.
Yeah, the next version of this budget, you get the vehicle subtotal there, that's gonna come out of there. The ladder truck will either be up above in equipment or only in the lease section,
Right.
according to what you'd like to see, so I don't disagree with you, 257 total. There is one other change in line 497, there's a note that Sherry and I didn't get in here. You'll notice that it's bumped by $15,000 in line 497.
Yep.
On page 19. I put in 15,000 in there, I think, after our last 1 or 2 meetings ago. Remember, we went out to bid for the LED sign. We had 20 grand, the bids were from 22 to 34.
Yeah.
Plus, we know we had 5 grand in electrical and excavation, so my intent was to use that 20 from this year, and there's supposed to be a note in here that adds 15 here to finish that LED sign job.
So
After July 1st.
So 497 is not exclusive to the fire department.
It's 15K for LED sign job.
So you're gonna have a 497 and a 497A in the budget line or whatever. But that's, yeah, that's fine. I think we knew that we were, when you started getting quotes, that there's a lot of other work that's gotta get done other than just buying an LED sign.
This generator that we're gonna put up on the mountain, we've already got power up there, and this is just a backup. Am I understanding that right?
Yes.
It's only just a 20,000 watt generator?
I don't know the wattage. Matt, if you could go
Well,
ahead
I'm
and text me in.
I'm only guessing, but somewhere between a 15 and a 20,000 watt generator. It's not a big generator, but by no means.
No, but it'd be something like, would be a, come on automatically,
Right.
power
The
trips.
question I got is, who's gonna load the fuel up to it?
Well, that's the other thing.
After I come home the other night, I got thinking about that, and they said, they don't plow that, so,
I think when I talked to Matt a couple of weeks ago regarding some questions I had with his budget stuff, I asked that same question, or actually he brought it up to me saying that depending on the type of generator, you either get a propane or not diesel. They do have a truck that they could haul whatever up there, or a propane truck could get up in there, I believe is what he
If it
said.
was propane, all they had to do is worry about getting a bottle up there, right? I mean,
right.
I would think that that would be the,
Yeah, so
Well,
it's
a lot
one
of-
of those two
Propane, in my
options.
mind's a lot cleaner and gonna start a lot better if it doesn't get started.
It's cheaper too.
The challenge will be the road, the river of rocks there by the land trust.
yeah, but if, typically, if power went out, it may very well be due to a winter storm, right? So, and you ain't taking a truck up there anyway, you're gonna take a, some sort of a tracked vehicle up there, right?
The theory is you fill it up in the fall, if it's a bigger tank, and
Well,
you don't have to come back.
Certainly, if you had a 100-gallon propane tank, that would run that generator for,
300, I mean,
That's gonna run for a while.
whatever, I mean, but the propane ain't gonna go bad.
right. So you get the 80, you get the 15 or the 20-pound bottles, and you get the,
I got 200
and you
in
get
my house
the,
right now.
an 80-gallon one, right, and the, whatever. So I would think that we could size it right, so that we then wouldn't have to worry about it. That's up to, I guess that's.
I just wanted to clarify my own mind after I got home, because wondering how we can get that up there.
That's another whole workshop topic, Dwayne, is that road
Yeah,
and the mountaintop there, the building
So-
itself.
Back to your question though, I don't see an issue like if we break out the equipment as a separate item, being the second question there. And then if you put the buildings and the upgrade roads, which all falls under public works, put that as one. And if anything, you might have to have a small comment, a sentence or two, just explaining what that money is for, so the transparency's there, so they know what the heck they're looking at.
So
three instead of
we'd
four.
only add two, we'd only add one additional question to the warrant. We already have one in there, Article 3, which is gonna be for the ladder truck.
Right.
We're gonna break one out that's gonna be just equipment. And then the remaining one will be for public works.
Which is the buildings and the roads.
Which is the building and the
I
roads.
would almost say 4, because you ought to take the buildings as a separate if you're gonna do that. If you're gonna break it down, break your buildings
It's
down.
one- It's one additional question, right?
It ain't gonna make much time and,
I don't see why we wouldn't break them out into the, so what traditionally we've run in one question, we would run in 4 questions. And the uniqueness this year is that,
only because of your comment of,
right,
I voted for this, but I didn't vote for that, and it's giving the taxpayers more chance to vote.
Okay.
okay with that?
Yeah.
Ken, you okay? Gordon?
So to me,
So take the CIP, chop it into thirds. 3 separate
What's
questions.
left in the CIP, yes.
Taking the truck out and just chop the other.
The ladder truck gets its own question.
Right. And the CIP would have 3 questions, one for equipment, one for buildings,
And one for upgrade roads.
roads.
With a total of 257.
Right.
960.
So one would be for 99, one would be for 26.8, and one's for 131, basically. You agreeable with that, Gordon?
Yeah, I'm agreeable with about taking it out, because I think it provides greater transparency, and I don't want to have somebody come back and say we hid things in the budget that they didn't know about.
Okay.
And I'd rather be open about the whole thing so that they know what they're voting on. And
Okay.
Dennis, can we talk about Article 3, the ladder?
Yep.
You haven't seen this document. I got it from the attorney, I guess, Sunday night or early yesterday. I toyed around doing it a couple ways. One is you said you wanted to use $200,000 in cash down, but in the actual article, I kept that $1 million just in case, so that the voters would approve of the purchase price, but we don't have to spend all that. And if you do end up using the 200, then the purchase price would be $800,000. So the explanatory note down below that talks about the old truck as to why we need to replace it. Also brings out the 200 grand, where the money's coming from, and it would lower the payment. This is just a draft, so I want your input on, I guess, the $200,000 figure, the explanation, and the rest of it is kind of boilerplate below those 2 paragraphs.
Yeah, so I think what you're gonna show in the financial statement is what it would mean to borrow $800,000, right?
I would think that we would want to show it the million maximum, just like I've got down the bottom there, million maximum.
Right, but that's the purchase price. But I would, to me, we're asking the voters to bond $800,000 for $1 million+ truck.
Okay, so change that million to 800. Halfway down the
Yes.
page.
And then, if the quote comes back in that it's over $1 million, then we're gonna, the balance is just gonna come out of that fund. Whether it's 200, or whether it's 234,000, or whether it's 280,000, or whether it's, whatever the number is, right?
Are you guys comfortable with the million being in the actual article, just for protection?
Well, I think that's gotta be,
I was gonna say, that's the cost of the truck.
right, that's
true.
So you need
So
the approval of the
Approval
total.
of spending that, but 200,000 of it's gonna come out of the ambulance fund that we already have.
The bigger question is just gonna make sure that the people voting are gonna read through this and understand that they're not going with $1 million, if we're talking about bonding 800,000.
But I think if we come down to where you're talking here, under that million that just changed to 800, I would put something like using $200,000 down payment in that sentence there as a further
That
explanation.
we already have.
From the current fund balance in the rescue building account,
Right.
or whatever we call it.
Should we say 200,000+, just if it goes over?
Yeah, well, we're gonna,
Well, I said using at least.
Okay.
In the underlined text there, you'll see
Yep.
those words. You can always spend less and use more in cash, in your authority.
yeah, if we get surprised on a bid price, then that's another. We're gonna trade this truck against it, right? I don't know what this truck is
It
worth.
seems though it was in the $20,000 to $30,000 range, or maybe that was sale price, I don't know. I mean, once you folks approve that, I guess approve this, then we will write a letter of intent to the company. And without any true financial commitment, that truck will be ours on first refusal. It's being made as we speak.
Right, right.
It's a stock model, I guess you'd call it. So they understand, and right in that letter will be written, the voters do not approve this until July 14th. But we'll still have first refusal on that truck.
And that truck that's being made right now has got everything in it that Matt and his crew needs.
I have asked that question in spades, and the answer is, it'll be fine. Yes. And I said, are you gonna have to add another?
So why wouldn't you write the letter now?
You folks haven't approved this.
We've approved that we're taking $1 million to the voters, right?
You haven't seen this until tonight, though.
I understand that, I understand that,
Pretentious.
right? But we said we were taking a bond issue to the voters, which we assumed was June 9th, now it's gonna be July.
I could solve that
14th.
problem. I'll make a motion here tonight that we authorize Gary to send the ladder truck company a note saying that we are going to the townspeople.
A letter of intent, right?
Letter of intent, yes.
I'll second that.
If the
Any
towns-
discussion?
If the townspeople don't approve it, then we got nothing
And I think
to
it's gotta be
lose.
worded that way, right?
That's right.
But if somebody else needs a ladder truck, we're gonna have first refusal on this
Right.
truck, so. As of July 14th,
15, I guess.
July 15th.
Yeah, July 15th, we could pull the trigger.
second Tuesday in July,
Assuming that it
whatever
goes
it
through.
is.
All right, nothing else, all those in favor? Gordon? Yea or nay? Authorize Gary to send a letter of intent to the builder.
We've lost him.
Looks like he's frozen.
Either that or he's,
Gordon, can you hear
I
us?
think is that a thumbs up in the top left corner?
No.
He's going. Can you hear Gordon?
I can hear you.
Is that a thumbs up that you just gave us?
Yeah, the thumbs up.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, that's hard to see. Your real hand.
Oh, that's better right there, good. Just leave it right there, we can see it good now. All right, anything else on this warrant?
I asked a question through an email the other day, bringing back the old home days thing, a comment I made the other night. We're not having an old home days this calendar year. If we don't put something in that budget line, they're not gonna have one again next year.
Why?
Yeah, they will. Because this is gonna go beyond us, and that money will be available July 1st. They've got $9,000, almost $10,000 in the
7,800, right? I think it's
I
7,800.
thought it was somewhere around just over 12,000.
So our budget will fund this year's old home days.
12,358.
And then next year's budget will fund next year's old home days.
Currently, they have in this budget,
They're a year behind.
70,
76 in the current budget, and then there's a designated fund balance of 4,700, so that's 12,358 and change.
that's the 12,000. So they have 12,000 seed money. If they want to run, if they want to
This is
run
where,
old
yes,
home days.
that's
in
the,
July
and you look on your GL,
2021,
it's a designated fund balance.
They will have $12,000
To start.
to start, and presumably, if all that planning is done, then July, when we vote next, a year from now, in June,
That fund will
we
be
would have that
available July
fund,
1st.
we would have funds available on July 1st.
For the 2021 budget.
Right.
They would have enough.
Right.
My
2022.
question is, the money that they have currently today, that's
Yep.
gonna be carried forward, the 12,3, whatever it is,
Yeah.
is that enough for the down payments that they need for everything that they've done in the past 2 or 3 years?
6,000 is about what the fireworks runs that they have to put it. Yeah, but down payment, down payment is about
What about all
what,
the other stuff, for the singers or dancers or whatever else they have?
Ted raises a good point, because they always don't have enough money before July 1st to do things. The fireworks company's been very good. They forego, I think they forego the down payment here last year.
Right, you said if they've got 12,3, why don't we just throw 13 in there so that they're gonna have enough to cover whatever, so that they have a cushion? I mean, I don't think $13,000 is gonna kill us anywhere. That way then they'll know that they have the funds that they need for down payments and anything else that they may want to add to this for July or
Which would be,
June of
which would be for,
2021.
it would be for an old home days
20,
in July of 2021.
Yes.
yes.
Because July of 2020
We get
isn't gonna
feedback.
happen
Right,
based on
exactly.
So why do they need any money for this year? If it's
So
not
that
gonna
would
happen
be my
in
question.
Because if we don't give it to them now, they won't have it next year.
2020? They will have it if we vote in next year's budget to fund them.
Yeah, for the following year.
I agree with you, Tim, because they got a little over 12,000 now, which is going to be carried forward, and.
They're gonna eat up half of that with down payments at least,
but
and they can't
as
do
of
everything
July,
else that they do with the,
12,000 should be able to get them the down payments, and the remainder of it ain't gonna be spent till July, after July 1st. The old home days is in around the 14th or 15th of July, so
Let's
the money is available.
Just look at this year, which started July 1st, all right? We're looking in the rearview mirror.
yeah.
They have spent 17,000,
That was the bills after,
okay, so they had $20,000. After July 1, they've spent 17,000 of
Okay.
it, okay? So going into the last old home days that they had, we had a budget number, $20,000, that started on July 1st, okay?
Right.
I don't know what we carried.
25,000.
No, 20 last year.
Thing I'm looking at says 25.
25 was this year, wasn't it?
all right, if you're talking 2020, the year ending 2020,
25.
it was 25,
Okay. And they've spent 17,
17 and change.
right,
And that was for last year's old
that
home.
was for last year's old home days.
So they're
So,
all set, they're all paid up
Yes,
for last year.
so everything is covered.
Now, have we spent any money on, have they spent any money on, out of this year's budget for down payments as we speak?
I'd have to go run a report. I don't believe so. The only one that's paid money in advance for services is your blues festival.
So the other thing is that they do have revenue coming in. I'm assuming all that revenue shows in our account,
Yes,
okay? This year, there's only $250 of revenue in there, right?
right? And that
So-
came in after the fact.
So they had, the revenue that they made was before they ran the event. So they had 12,000,
300,
58, yeah.
okay, so 12,003.
okay.
The revenue was for ads and for games, I'm
Question
presuming.
is how much do they lay out between, we'll say, pre-July, pre-event, how much do they spend?
April to July.
They would like to pay 50% down on the fireworks, plus, I don't know, probably locking in the groups is a down payment as well. So I would guess if they pay half down, $4,500, so, you know, $7,500 minimum before June 30.
For this year,
But
For any year they're going to have
well,
it.
realistically, they got half of it, because they've got a little over 12,000, and they're talking 25 for a budget, so we're right about 50%.
1 year, and I think it was the year that this event did not happen, they had that money carried
That
forward.
was 19,000, I think.
And they
carried
had
forward.
all the money they needed late June to run the event. And that was a much smoother, my phone rang a lot less, and it was much smoother for them because they could plan on that money. So to Ted's point, he makes a good point. It would be nice to have that 25 grand come June 1st to spend then, and then carry forward if there's something left to carry forward June 3rd, which there would be.
Well, again, like I said
So-
too, that
so-
being
so
said,
you're
if we
talking-
give them 13 plus the 12, there's their 25.
I don't disagree with the logic behind your argument because they would appreciate it. It'd be a lot easier to run the event that way.
so just to be clear, are we talking about one this year?
No.
No.
Next
We're still
calendar
talking
year,
about
July of
2021.
2021.
Right. Thank you.
But remember, this next budget we're talking about is for the next event that's going to happen in June of 2021,
Right.
assuming it does not happen this year.
I think there's pretty good odds that it's not gonna happen this year. Not in the same time frame that they've got now.
I mean, they've canceled, the Yarmouth Clam Festival's canceled, what was it, Alfred, I think, just canceled their thing the other day.
State of Maine celebrations have been
Right.
moved out to August.
Well, you're certainly free to make a motion.
You know, the other thing too is, I mean, if we funded the whole thing for next year, and they wanted to do something later this calendar year, even if it was just fireworks for a night, they've got money to do that.
Yeah, they need to come back and talk to you folks, because if the voters approve this, then it's for July Old Home Days. If you're gonna change the spending of that money, they need at least to come and have an audience with you folks, in my opinion. Not a bad idea.
What do you wanna do, Theodore?
Well, I'll make a motion that we add $13,000 to line 549 for Old Home Days to bump up what they have in hand and what they need for Old Home Days, whether it be this calendar year or next year, 2021, so they have their $25,000.
Which budget are we using? Because I've got the newest one you gave us, and that's line
It's
550.
now line 550.
Okay.
Is it 550?
Yes, the newest one is.
Well, 551 was the roll-up, but,
Let's just call it Old Home Days total.
yep.
Oh, okay. Jesus, the thing,
Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Gordon. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Were you up or down, I'm sorry?
I didn't go out. I didn't vote.
Are you down or you want to abstain?
I am going to abstain.
4-0-1.
Anything,
Only because I think we can do it next year.
anything else we need to discuss?
On your articles for the warrant, I'd like to get that cleared up some, because that doesn't agree with the list that I have.
No, we're not gonna approve this tonight.
Okay,
Yeah, they unapproved this time.
because this is way off.
Let me
There's
just,
no
let me
numbers.
just jump
No,
back
no,
for a
but
minute.
what
If
you're
you look at
including
Article
is-
19 on the warrant, or the draft warrant, that has all of the items that we are carrying forward. And Old Home Days is one of them, okay?
Yes,
So that ends that question.
Is that your just question, I think?
So that, Article 19 has to pass. If not, all that stuff goes into
Yeah, okay.
the general fund.
Yeah, there needs to be some textual changes on 19. And we will put some rough estimates in there for the next version of this. And once again, for Gordon clarification, people back home, that last list will be a list of estimated revenues. It will not be something that will be voted on. The very last thing above your signatures, if you're okay with that.
Okay?
In that case, Sherry and I will get going on creating a true final budget.
We should have a final budget and a final warrant to approve
On the 28th.
on the 28th.
Do you want to come back in a week? Do you want to come back in 2 weeks?
Well, we don't have to rush at this point, right? So let's see.
I don't have a problem coming back next week. The question is, what I get here?
Well, I think the bottom line is that let's run it to the end of the month and see what the changes are. We might have more than,
And that's the night, the 28th is the night we're supposed to have our initial information about the personnel policy too, so we'll just wrap it all up in that one night.
Yes. I wouldn't
Okay.
mind pulling your questions and concerns into one document. If you give them to me, I'll type them up and spit them out to everybody.
For the warrant?
For the personnel policy, I'm sorry. If you have questions on the personnel policy.
So our next meeting will be the 28th?
yes. Item 11.
Nomination papers got to be in here for the 27th.
27th of
That
April.
hasn't changed, right?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Maybe legally it has, but I wouldn't count on it.
Okay. Well, to be on the safe side, for anybody that is running, make sure that your papers are in on the original date that's on the papers. Which I believe is listed on the papers, right?
27th, I believe, right?
Okay. Item 11, discuss vote to approve the minutes of the March 10th regular meeting.
So,
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Opposed? Discuss a vote to approve the minutes of the April 2nd special meeting.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Gordon's up.
5-0.
Discuss vote to approve the minutes of the April 7th meeting.
so moved.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
5-0.
Opposed, 5-0. Anything we want to add to next week's agenda, or next meeting's agenda? We get the personnel policy, we're going to approve the municipal budget and the municipal warrant. Anything else that we need to?
Did we ever make a determination of who we're gonna, for the,
We heard back from the,
No, Sheriff, I'm sorry. Sheriff, if you're listening, you can text me back. I never heard back from
champion.
champions. Feel free to text me if you did. The last I knew, you had not. So,
I got another candidate for us.
We'll throw it out there.
Do we know where that's coming from? Did you and Matt, or that's something?
Jim
For them.
Earl.
I was just thinking the same thing.
I think we'll do that.
I went down through that list again, and I mean, we've done people still living and people that have passed, and for somebody that has done something for the town, I felt that Jim probably has done as much as anybody, keeping the general public going and coming, and what he did years ago with the snowplows, and so.
I'm sorry, I missed Jim.
Jim Earl, Jim's Getty,
Yep.
he passed last year, so.
He was a senior, right? Jim Earl Senior?
Yes,
Junior.
Yeah, well, I think he was a junior.
so this one's the third?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sherry has heard nothing from Champions, so I think we should
I'm
probably move on from that.
certainly fine with that. If you want to put that in the form of a motion.
I'll make it a motion that we dedicate the town report to Jim Earl.
You have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? You up, Gordon?
Couldn't even hear the motion.
Oh, okay. Move that we would dedicate the town report to Jim Earl, in the memory of Jim Earl.
I'd be in favor of that.
Okay. So 5-0.
5-0. Thank you.
Okay? Anything else? Sensing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Wait a second.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Good night.
6:01.